For centuries, the Vorath Dominion ruled the galaxy with an iron fist, their empire stretching across star systems, built upon the bones of conquered species. At its helm stood Emperor Xal'thar, a monstrous being who saw all life as either slaves or sustenance. His latest conquest, Earth. When his war fleet darkened Earth's skies, humanity was unprepared. Cities fell in hours, millions perished, and world leaders begged for mercy. Xal'thar reveled in our despair, broadcasting his triumph across the stars. He declared humans weak, fragile, and destined for extinction, but he made one fatal mistake. He underestimated us, scattered survivors, soldiers, scientists, rebels, refused to kneel. In the ruins, they studied Vorath technology reverse, engineered their weapons, and turned their own brutality against them. A shadow war began, guerrilla strikes, stolen ships, traps laid in the ashes of our world. Then came Operation Eclipse, the day humanity struck back. A strike team infiltrated Xal'thar's flagship, sabotaged its defenses, and unleashed a bioweapon engineered from his own DNA. His invincible body began to rot from within. His fleet, crippled by hacked systems, turned on itself. For the first time in his immortal reign, Xal'thar knew fear. Cornered in his throne room, bleeding black ichor, he snarled at the human soldiers closing in. "You are supposed to be prey," he rasped. The last thing he saw was a rifle barrel aimed between his eyes. "No," the soldiers said, "we're the hunters now." The Vorath Dominion, a ruthless alien empire that conquers and consumes weaker species, expanded explanation. The Vorath Dominion is not just another interstellar empire. It is a nightmare-given form, a civilization built upon the systematic eradication of all who oppose it. Origins: the Vorath evolved on a death world, a planet so hostile that only the most vicious predators survived. Their biology is a fusion of organic brutality and biomechanical enhancements, making them nearly unstoppable. Expansion: they do not colonize, they consume. Each conquered world is stripped of resources, its population either enslaved, experimented on, or devoured in grotesque feeding rituals. Technology: their ships are living horrors, grown rather than built, fused with neural networks that make them as much beasts as machines. Their weapons dissolve flesh, their war machines pulse with stolen life energy. Culture: they believe in the law of the hunt. The strong dominate, the weak perish. To them, mercy is a disease, and resistance is just prey struggling before the kill. Emperor Xal'thar's rule: under him, the Dominion reached its peak, with thousands of species extinguished in his name. His throne is made from the skulls of fallen kings, his crown forged from the crystallized screams of dying worlds. Why this matters: when the Vorath set their sights on Earth, they expected another easy conquest. But humanity was different. We didn't just fear predators. We studied them, we hunted them, and when the Vorath came for us, they learned the hard way. Even prey can become the hunter. Emperor Xal'thar, the immortal, sadistic ruler who sees humans as nothing but prey, expanded explanation. The galaxy does not bow, it breaks. Emperor Xal'thar's first decree upon ascending the Vorath throne: Xal'thar is not just a conqueror. He is a living calamity, a being whose very existence defies the natural order. Origins and ascension: born in the blood pits of Vorathi's prime, Xal'thar was not royalty by birth, but by slaughter. He fought his way to power in the Great Culling, a years-long massacre where Vorath warlords dueled to the death. He ate the heart of the previous emperor and absorbed his memories through a horrific Vorath ritual, becoming both heir and executioner. Physiology and immortality: his body is a fusion of organic and synthetic horrors, with a regenerative carapace that heals near instantly. His black, blooded veins pump a necrotic venom that can kill with a single scratch. He does not age instead. He consumes the life force of those he executes to sustain himself. Psychology and philosophy: to Xal'thar, pain is art, and suffering is the purest form of truth. He keeps pet worlds of planets he conquers but deliberately leaves partially alive. just to watch civilizations slowly rot into despair. Humans to him are amusingly fragile. He views Earth's resistance as cubs biting at a starved leviathan. The hunt ritual. Before destroying a species, Xal'thar personally leads a grand hunt, where he takes on their greatest warriors bare-handed. On Earth, he slaughters special forces teams, MMA champions, and even enhanced cyber soldiers, all while laughing. But then, he meets her. The moment everything changes, a nameless human soldier, no enhancements, no superweapons, outsmarts him in the ruins of Moscow. She doesn't fight. She lures him into a collapsing skyscraper rigged with stolen Vorath plasma charges. For the first time in centuries, Xal'thar bleeds, and in that moment, the galaxy's most terrifying predator realizes humans don't fight fair. Earth's invasion Vorath forces attack without warning, crushing human defenses the day the sky screamed they didn't come from the stars. They tore through them. Last transmission from the International Space Station, first strike. Orbital devastation. The Vorath don't announce their arrival with diplomacy or warnings. They silence Earth's satellites first, plunging global communications into chaos. Kinetic rods forged from dead planets' cores rain down, obliterating military bases, capitals, and nuclear silos in minutes. The ISS astronauts are the first humans to die, solved alive by Vorath boarding pods that melt through the station's hull. Atmospheric invasion. The drop of the black rain Vorath drop spires, living, fleshy towers, spear into major cities, unfolding like grotesque flowers to release thousands of biomechanical hunters. Their shock troops aren't just soldiers, they're genetically sculpted nightmares, skull renders, fast as cheetahs with blade, arms that crack concrete, necrophasms, half-invisible assassins that phase through walls. Siege behemoths, 30-foot. All monstrosities that eat tank rounds and spit back molten shrapnel. Humanity's failed resistance. Conventional militaries collapse within 72 hours. Fighter jets explode mid-air, hacked by Vorath pulse viruses. Nuclear launches fail. Vorath nanites infiltrate silo systems and turn missiles into inert metal. The last organized defense happens in Geneva, where a combined EU force makes a stand. The Vorath flay them alive on global feeds, broadcasting their dying screams as a lesson. The Emperor's message, Xal'thar's holographic visage, appears over every screen left functioning. He doesn't speak. He siphons the voice of a dead world's last child to address humanity. Run, hide. It makes the feast sweeter. Why this matters, this isn't just a war. It's an extinction event. Until the night a team of Tier 1 operators in London's ruins does the impossible. They capture a live Vorath, and humanity learns its first real truth about the invaders. They can bleed. And if they can bleed, they can die. Humanity's desperation, governments collapse. Survivors hide in ruins. The great collapse. Democracy died in a bunker. What rose from its corpse was something. Hungrier. Captain Elias Vance, last recording before the fall of Washington, D.C. The fall of order. Last stand of the world leaders. The United Nations emergency summit ends when a Vorath siege behemoth crashes through the Geneva Convention Center. World leaders are dissolved alive in their panic rooms by Vorath acid spitters. The U.S. President's final order is Operation Scorched Earth. Detonate every remaining nuke underground to deny Vorath resources. The failsafes mysteriously deactivate, later revealed to be Vorath hackers were writing human codes mid-transmission. The 17-day war national armies fracture into isolated pockets. The last armored division makes its stand in Siberia, using frozen lakes as kill zones. Vorath thermal, inversion bombs flash, melt the ice, drowning thousands. China's Great Firewall becomes a death trap. Vorath AI turns Beijing's surveillance state against its citizens, using facial recognition to hunt down resistance leaders. The scattered survivors' underground cities, London's tube tunnels, become a rat's nest of rebels, communicating via Morse code tapped on pipes. The Paris catacombs are laced with Vorath hunting IED made from museum antiquities. Renaissance painting's frame becomes shrapnel. The new rules of survival: Rule 1, never sleep near electronics, Vorath pulse. Beetles swarm through power grids, liquefying brains. Rule 2, fire is life. The only thing Vorath fear is uncontrolled combustion. Their bioarmor chars at 1,200 degrees C. Rule 3, trust no one, Vorath skin. Weavers can mimic human faces, but their pupils don't contract in light. The turning point, Moscow's revenge: a crippled Vorath houndship crashes near Red Square. Starving survivors tear into its still, living hull with welding torches and crowbars, and discover the ship's nervous system is controlled by a gelatinous brain core. A 14-year-old hacker named Lena Kovaleva-Jury rigs a car battery to hijack its pain receptors. For 37 seconds, the entire Vorath fleet in Europe screams. That's when the whispers begin. If we can hurt one, we can hurt them all. Xal'thar's arrogance: he broadcasts his victory, mocking human weakness, the Emperor's triumph. Your greatest warriors died weeping. Your strongest cities burn like paper. Now watch as I erase your history, starting with the bones of your ancestors. Emperor Xal'thar's victory address, transmitted on every surviving human screen, the galactic taunt, the black broadcast using hijacked satellites and emergency alert systems. Xal'thar forces every functioning screen on Earth to display his throne room, a grotesque hall lined with the skulls of extinct species. Behind him, human prisoners are suspended in biostasis, their bodies slowly unraveling into genetic slurry for Vorath experiments. The trophy display: he parades captured human leaders, not just politicians, but cultural icons. A Nobel Prize-winning scientist is flayed alive on stream while Vorath surgeons lecture about human frailty. The last living Olympic gold medalist is forced to fight a starved Vorath war beast, only for Xal'thar to snap the athlete's spine personally when they almost win. The grand announcement: Xal'thar declares Earth a hunting reserve. Vorath nobles will be allowed to land and hunt survivors for sport. He unveils his monument to extinction, a massive orbital spire being constructed from the melted-down remains of human monuments: the Eiffel Tower, Statue of Liberty, Great Wall. The fatal miscalculation: he ignores the silence in his arrogance. Xal'thar dismisses the lack of human broadcasts, begging for mercy. He assumes it's despair. In reality, resistance cells have gone completely dark, communicating only through dead, drop messages written in Vorath blood. He misses the pattern: every Vorath hunting party that goes missing is logged as lost to human desperation. No one notices the 17 butchered Vorath nobles are all found with identical wounds, a single stab through their tertiary brain node. The first crack in his armor, when a Vorath commander dares to suggest humans might be organizing, Xal'thar vaporizes him mid-sentence for weakness. Later, security feeds show the executed commander's body twitching with stolen human nanites, but the footage is deleted before Xal'thar sees it. Why this matters: Xal'thar's spectacle wasn't just cruelty, it was a strategic blunder. By showing off his trophies, he revealed two fatal truths. He cares what humans think. Why mock prey unless their fear matters? He doesn't understand what humans are. We don't just submit. We study our predators, and in the ruins, a new message spreads. He wants an audience. Let's give him a show. The resistance forms: scattered soldiers, scientists, and rebels unite. The fractured dawn of rebellion. We are not an army. We are a virus, and we will infect their empire with vengeance. Colonel Hira Singh, last broadcast from the Mumbai ruins, the first sparks of defiance. The Ghost Brigades, surviving special forces units from across the globe, shed their insignias and adopt new tactics. SAS Wraith teams in London use Vorath corpse acid to dissolve patrols. Spets as black snow. Units in Siberia weaponize permafrost methane explosions. Delta Force revenants in New York rewire Vorath drop pods into cluster bombs. The underground university's biologists in the Paris catacombs discover Vorath DNA self-destructs when exposed to lithium, leading to battery bombs stuffed with phone parts. A rogue MIT named Warden hijacks Boston's subway robots to build the first human Vorath hybrid weapon, a railgun that fires cryogenically frozen Vorath nerve clusters. The unlikely alliance's Tokyo Yakuza trade their drug labs for bioweapon factories synthesizing Vorath, killing toxins from their own harvested organs. Mexican cartel Sicarios perfect neuro, tox, and darts using stolen Vorath medical scanners. Antarctic researchers turn their station into a stealth fortress, using ice-penetrating sonar to track Vorath movements. The blood packed in the ruins of Geneva's CERN facility, the surviving leaders of the fractured resistance meet. Colonel Hira Singh, India's last nuclear strategist doctor. Elissa Voss, the virologist who weaponized Vorath blood, Wraith. An ex-CIA operative with no face, just Vorath skin grafted over Burns' Lena Kovaleva, the teen hacker who first hijacked a houndship. Their agreement is written in a mix of human blood and Vorath bile. No more nations, only cell, designations fire, ash, bone, void. All captured tech is shared through dead, drop caches hidden in mass graves. Any survivor compromised by Vorath mimicry is to be burned alive without hesitation. The first strike that changed everything using Lena's neural hack and Voss's bioweapons. Cell. Fire executes Operation Eclipse. They lure a Vorath hunting party into the London Underground, detonate lithium, packed sewer pipes, melting 6 skullrenders alive, hijack their comms to send a single, untranslatable human word directly to Xal'thar's throne. Checkmate. The Vorath Emperor laughs, until his advisors realize the word is spliced with a dormant data virus. 3 hours later, every Vorath in Europe's secondary heart stops beating for exactly 2 seconds. Reverse. Engineering tech humans steal and adapt Vorath weapons, turning the enemy's flesh against them. They think their weapons are alive. Good. That means they can suffer. Doctor. Elissa Voss, notes scrawled in Vorath blood, the great theft harvesting the hunters' resistance teams begin ambushing isolated Vorath patrols, not to kill, but to capture them alive. Butchers. Surgeon, soldiers dissect Vorath shock troops in hidden labs, discovering their plasma rifles are bonded to their nervous systems, so humans graft them to spinal implants from old medical tech. Their armor regenerates when fed blood, leading to blood, bomb, traps that overfeed the armor until it suffocates the wearer. The Black Laboratory's London Underground lab turns Vorath acid glands into sprake and weapons that melt through starship hulls. Siberian bunker discovers Vorath gravity grenades work by crushing space-time, now used to implode entire drops. Buyers. Amazon rainforest cell learns to hack Vorath bio-ships by injecting them with synthesized pain hormones. The first human Vorath hybrid weapons the Screamer, a repurposed Vorath vocal sac turned into a sonic cannon, ruptures internal organs in a 200-meter radius. Side effect: anyone who fires it hears the screams of the Vorath it was harvested from. The Lazarus Needle's hypodermics filled with Vorath stem cells revives dying soldiers for one last 48-hour berserker rage. Cost: the user's DNA starts mutating into something unrecognizable. The Godkiller round a bullet forged from Xal'thar's own spilled blood collected in Moscow. Fired from a modified 50 cal, it ignores Vorath regeneration, because it's biologically coded as self. The Emperor's nightmare when Vorath forces suddenly start dying from their own weapons. Xal'thar realizes the truth. Humans aren't just scavenging tech. They're remixing it faster than the Dominion's evolution cycles. His order is immediate: burn every human city to glass. But it's too late. Because in a bunker beneath Mount Everest, Lena Kovaleva uploads the final hack. A virus that doesn't attack Vorath tech, it asks their bio-ships one question: why do you obey? And for the first time in history, a Vorath warship hesitates. Guerrilla warfare hit, and run attacks weaken the occupiers. The Shadow War: we don't fight battles, We deliver nightmares. Wraith Cell, Void Operative Tactics of Terror, the Rat King's strategy. Small cells of 3-5 fighters never engage directly. They sabotage, poison, and vanish. Moscow, Vorath patrols find their bioarmor itching. Human chemists lace water supplies with nanoscopic glass shards that worm into joint seams. Cairo, rebels drop sonic emitters into sewers, emitting frequencies that make Vorath brainstorms hemorrhage. Living traps bleeding walls of buildings rigged with Vorath nerve clusters that scream when touched, drawing patrols into kill zones. Skin, dancers or resistance fighters wear flayed Vorath hides as camouflage, smelling like corpses to bypass sensors. The 12-second rule: no attack lasts longer than 12 seconds. The time it takes for Vorath drones to triangulate a position. Record: a cell. Ash team in Berlin kills 17 Vorath in 11. 8 seconds using piano wire and stolen plasma cutters. Psychological warfare: the broadcast war. Hackers hijack Vorath comms to play human war songs, but spliced with subsonic pulses that induce paranoia. Xal'thar's throne room starts receiving doctored footage of his own troops defecting. The trophy system: for every Vorath slain, rebels take a trophy. Fangs become lockpicks. Tendons are dried into bowstrings. Eyes are hollowed out to hold poison. The most feared: voice. Boxes are removed vocal sacs used to mock Vorath commands during ambushes. The turning tide: Vorath morale cracks when entire patrols vanish, only to be found later, posed like human statues in public squares. A new phrase spreads through their ranks: beware the quiet streets. Vorath weaknesses discovered: a scientist finds a flaw in their biology. The Achilles gene evolution is a knife that cuts both ways, and we just shoved it through their spine. Doctor. Elissa Voss, final entry in her research log: the break through the London Underground autopsy after dissecting 47 Vorath corpses. Doctor. Voss notices a pattern. Their cells regenerate via helix nodes, tiny organic reactors that rewrite DNA on demand. But these nodes overheat when exposed to lithium ions, metal abundant in human batteries. The Lazarus test: a captured Vorath is injected with lithium-laced saline. Within minutes, its healing factor goes berserk, melting its own muscles into tumorous growths. Fatal design flaw: Solaris dependency. Vorath cells run on photosynthetic energy absorbed from their homeworld's triple suns. Earth's single sun starves them, forcing them to rely on stored reserves that deplete 23% faster than projected. Binary nervous system: they have two brains, a primary brain logic/motor control, a secondary rage core, combat instincts. If one is damaged, the other overloads, causing seizures or catatonia. The blood paradox: Vorath blood clots instantly when exposed to air, unless mixed with human saliva. This quirk, meant to prevent bleeding in space, lets human fighters keep wounds fresh by spitting on them. Weaponizing weaknesses: sun, siphon, grenades, modified UV lamps that overcharge Vorath cells until they explode. Neural scramblers: devices that emit frequencies causing their two brains to fight each other. The Voss serum: a lithium-based injector that turns their healing against them, making limbs fuse into useless meat. Clubs. The Emperor's secret: Xal'thar's immortality comes from a stolen human trait. His DNA contains fragments of Homo sapiens' genetic code, harvested from a long, dead Earth probe. This means one thing: the Godkiller round will work. The bioweapon: a virus designed to target only Vorath DNA. Project Eclipse. Humanity's silent vengeance: we don't just kill them, we make their own bodies betray them. Dr. Elissa Voss. Final transmission before detonation: the genesis of the bioweapon, discovery of the helix fragility. Dr. Voss autopsies reveal Vorath DNA has no junk sequences. Every strand is optimized for efficiency. This makes it fast but brittle, like a glass sword. A single corrupted base pair cascades into systemic collapse. The human key: Vorath cells ignore most human viruses, except one, a dormant Neanderthal retrovirus rediscovered in Arctic permafrost. When spliced with Vorath tissue, It rewrites their genetic commands into suicide prompts, designing the perfect plague delivery system, ghost pollen, nano-dispersed particles that mimic Earth's atmosphere, inhaled passively, bloodsong nanites, microscopic drones that swim through Vorath veins, singing genetic kill codes. Activation triggers the virus stays dormant until detecting Vorath adrenal spikes during combat. Then it unzips their DNA like a faulty blueprint, causing muscle fibrillation, flesh unravels into wire-like strands. Brain crystallization, thoughts literally shatter. Weeping bone syndrome, skeleton liquefies from the inside. The safety measure, the bioweapon self, destructs after 14 days, leaving no trace but glass, like Vorath statues. The first test, Night of Shattered Stars, a captured Vorath supply ship, is seeded with ghost pollen. When it docks with the orbital fleet, 92% of Vorath aboard die within hours. The survivors' final transmissions are just wet, crunching sounds. Xal'thar's reaction for the first time, the Emperor quarantines himself. His inner circle notices. He now wears a breathing filter. His throne skulls are replaced with human medical diagrams. He issues Order 777. Burn any Vorath who coughs. Final countdown, the Resistance prepares Operation Eclipse, a global bioweapon release. But one question remains, will it be genocide or justice? Operation Eclipse, the final plan to assassinate Xal'thar, the Deathstroke Protocol, cut off the head. And the body won't just die. It will tear itself apart trying to grow a new one. Colonel Hira Singh, Operation Eclipse briefing the three-pronged strike, Godkiller. Decapitation strike objective, kill Xal'thar in his throne room. Team, Lena Kovelva neural hacker carrying a Vorath, brain spike loaded with the bioweapon. Wraith infiltration expert wearing flayed Vorath noble skin as disguise. Dr. Voss armed with the last Lazarus needle, set to overload Xal'thar's stolen human DNA. Blackout, fleet sabotage objective, disable Vorath command ships to prevent reinforcements. Method, hijacked Vorath missiles fired at key vessels carrying bloodsong nanites. EMP bursts from repurposed human satellites to scramble organic circuitry. Scorched Earth, bioweapon deployment objective. Global release of ghost pollen if Xal'thar isn't killed in time. Fallback. Detonate Lithia. Myon bombs in major cities to aerosolize the virus. The Emperor's last stand, Xal'thar, now paranoid, replaces his organs with cloned backups hourly. His throne room is guarded by Vorath clones of his most feared enemies, including mirror versions of Wraith and Lena. The final confrontation isn't a battle. It's a genetic paradox. Dr. Voss stabs him with the Lazarus needle, unlocking his human DNA fragments. His body rejects its own cells, crumbling like overcooked meat. His last words, "You were never, pray." Aftermath, the Dominions collapse with no clear air. Vorath warlords turn on each other, fracturing the Empire. Human resistance shifts from survival to hunting the hunters, boarding abandoned Vorath ships to burn their spawning pools. Earth is free, but forever changed. The Vorath Empire collapses without their emperor. Their forces retreat in disarray. The fall of the Dominion. A hive cannot survive when its queen is dead, and we just burned the hive. Wraith, after action, report chaos in the stars. The great betrayal Vorath warlords, each genetically hardwired to obey only Xal'thar's voice, turn on each other in a frenzy of territorial disputes. Fleet Admiral Kraxath declares himself the new emperor, only to be devoured alive by his own flagship's core. The death of the living ships without Xal'thar's psychic commands. Vorath bioships starve or go mad. Some implode, their organic reactors collapsing. Others mutate uncontrollably, becoming floating tombs of flesh. A few flee into deep space, broadcasting distorted screams. Earth's reckoning, the last Vorath on Earth stranded shock troops degenerate into feral packs, hunted by human revenge squads. A few plead for mercy, until humans realize they're mimicking speech patterns from old broadcasts. The scavenger wars begin. Human factions fight over abandoned Vorath tech. The Neotech Covenant wants to rebuild civilization. The Purge cult burns every alien artifact they find. The hybrid apostles graft Vorath organs onto themselves, becoming something new. The Galactic shift new allies and new threats. The Xal'thar Collective, an ancient enemy of the Vorath, offers Earth a place in their alliance. But their terms are clear. Prove you're not just another predator. Humanity's choice: do we repeat the Vorath's sins, or become something greater? The answer lies in what we do with the Godkiller round's blueprint. Epilogue: The Hunter's Legacy, What Rises from the Ashes. The Broken Crown. 1 year after the fall, the Vorath homeworld burns human. Led fleets armed with stolen bioships glass Vorath is prime in a 30-day orbital bombardment. But deep in the ruins, something survives. A hive crypt, where the last Vorath embryos sleep. The hybrid apostles, crusade radicals who merged with Vorath DNA, declare themselves the true evolution. Their leader, Subject Omega, claims to hear Xal'thar's voice in his dreams. The Xal'thar Gambit. 5 years later, Earth's first interstellar colony, Mars, is terraformed using repurposed Vorath bio-engines, but the red sands now grow flesh-colored grass. Xal'thar ambassadors gift humanity a galactic archive, which contains records of 17 other species the Vorath wiped out. The unasked question: will you avenge them, or replace your hunters? See Wraith's last mission. 10 years after the war, the lone wanderer Wraith, now more machine than man, stalks the graveyard orbit, where Vorath ships rot. He's searching for one thing: Lena Kovalva's final signal, last detected near a derelict world. Killer ship. The discovery: the ship's core is still alive, whispering in a loop: we miscalculated. You weren't prey. You were the infection. The Godkiller's shadow. Present day. The secret cult of Dr. Voss. Her research is outlawed, yet black labs still refine the bioweapon. New strains target Xal'thar biology, just in case. The final truth in the Arctic. A buried Vorath probe awakens. Its message: Xal'thar was never the first emperor. He was the 12th. The others are still out there. The awakening. The 11 hidden emperors stir in the void, the dark beyond the galaxy's edge. You killed a king and thought the war was over. But empires have thrones, and thrones are never empty for long. The last transmission from the derelict Vorath probe. The Silent Ones return. The forgotten emperors. Xal'thar was merely the youngest and most reckless of the Vorath sovereigns. The original 11 emperors had gone into eternal hunt stasis, a ritual hibernation in the void between galaxies. Now their bio-tombs detect the fall of the Dominion and begin to wake. The first to rise, Urkoth, the undying first emperor, a being so ancient, his body is more stone than flesh, his mind hardened by 1,000,000 years of conquest. Vexus, the hollow queen, 5th emperor, a voracious psychic void who doesn't consume flesh. She eats memories, cultures, entire histories. Kraxon, the world-breaker, 9th emperor, his warship isn't just alive. It's a captured black hole, harnessed in a cage of bone. Earth's new night. Mare, the signal from the dark deep. Base listening posts detect a pulse, not a transmission, but a biological imperative, resonating with any creature carrying Vorath DNA. Every hybrid on Earth collapses screaming, their veins burning with a single command: kneel or be unmade. The flesh grass on Mars. The strange growths suddenly align in perfect geometric patterns, pointing toward a single point in the cosmos. Scientists who touch it vanish, their bodies found later, empty, like hollow, doubt shells. The choice ahead. The Xal'thar ultimatum. The collective offers humanity sanctuary in their Dyson spheres. If we surrender all Vorath technology, their warning: you are children playing with a dead god's weapons. The hybrid apostles' prophecy. Subject Omega claims the 11 emperors are not enemies, but the great filter, a test to see if humanity is worthy of becoming the next apex species. His cult slaughters an entire city to build a beacon for their arrival. Wraith's last stand. He finds Lena's final message encoded in the derelict world: killer ship. The bioweapon was never the end, it was the invitation. They're coming because we proved we could kill one of them. The final countdown, the 11 emperors are not invading. They are converging, their bio-tombs hurtling toward the Milky Way at 99% light speed, and the only thing louder than their approach is the sound of Vorathi's Prime's ruins cracking open from within. The final war, humanity's last stand against the 11, the blood. Stained stars, you killed one god and called it victory. Now meet the pantheon. Irgoth the Undying, first emperor of the Vorath, the emperor's arrival. The black tide approaches the 11 bio-tombs arrive not as ships, but as planetaries, gale entities, each a living war, moon shaped like their emperor's will. Irgoth's is a spiked necropolis, its surface writhing with resurrected warriors, species from extinct civilizations. Vexus is a hollow sphere, sucking in all light, all sound, all memory of what enters it. Craxon's is a swirling mass of event horizon fury, dragging entire fleets into its crushing embrace. The first strike before humanity can react. 3 colony worlds vanish. Mars flesh, grass erupts into tendrils, pulling cities underground. Jupiter's mining stations are erased from time, as if they never existed. Pluto shatters, its fragments forming a runed message in Vorath glyphs. This is not war. This is pruning. The fractured resistance, the Zygarthi betrayal, the collective seals its borders, abandoning humanity with a final transmission. Your species was the scalpel that killed the Vorath. Now you are the disease. The hybrid apostle's ascension subject Omega merges with a Vorath bio-core, becoming a living conduit for the emperors. His body splits into 11 copies, each speaking with an emperor's voice. The last true human's wraith, Lena now more machine than woman, and Dr. Voss's AI ghost form the Cinder Council. Their plan isn't to survive, it's to make extinction cost more than the emperors can pay. The doom weapon, the Voss contingency buried in Earth's core, is Project Eclipse Final, a bioweapon that doesn't kill Vorath. It unmakes their genetic legacy, turning their DNA into a cosmic timestamp that broadcasts one message to the universe. Here lies a failed experiment. The price activating it requires burning Earth's entire biosphere as fuel. Wraith's final order, no more running. Today, we turn our world into a graveyard marker. The last transmission as the emperors descend, Lena hacks into all remaining comms. Her voice echoes across the ruins. You came hunting prey, but we are the warning, the scream the next civilization hears before they pick up a weapon. Die well. Then, silence, the aftermath. The galaxies whisper centuries later. New species find Vorath war. Moons adrift, their emperors frozen in death. Screams, the cinder paradox Earth is gone. But its last light still travels, carrying the bioweapons code. The hybrid's fate subject Omega's 11 bodies vanish, leaving behind only a child's drawing of Earth. The hunt is over, the lesson remains. The echoes of extinction, legacy of the last humans the universe remembers, civilizations rise and fall. But warnings, those echo forever. Final entry in the recovered logs of the Cinder Council A, the Silent War, moons centuries later, graves of gods, the 11 emperor, moons drift lifeless in the void, their surfaces petrified in expressions of agony. Scavengers who board them report, Irgoth's necropolis is filled with statues of species no archive remembers. Vex's hollow sphere now reflects only Earth's last moments on loop. Craxon's black hole has stopped spinning, frozen at the moment of death. The curse of the hybrid subject Omega's 11 bodies are found kneeling in a perfect circle, their merged flesh spelling one word in Vorath script, enough. B. The Cinder Paradox, light as a weapon, Earth's final bioweapon pulse still travels at light speed, now reaching distant galaxies. The Zygarthi intercepted, and immediately quarantine 1/3 of their territory, fearing contamination. The message and the code hidden in the bioweapon structure is humanity's entire genetic archive, a backup of our species. Some believe it's a gift, others a time-delayed plague. See, the child's drawing discovery on a dead world. Explorers find a crude sketch of Earth on a Vorath moon's walls, drawn in Wraith's blood, aged over 600 years. Beneath it, scratched in English, we were never the hunters, just the lesson, D. The last truth the Zygarthe's secret their archives reveal. The Vorath weren't the first apex predators. Every 50,000 years, a species prunes the galaxy. Humanity broke the cycle by making death too costly. The final question was Earth's sacrifice, a noble warning, or the universe's deadliest trap. The cycle reborn, a new species finds Earth's warning the ripple in the cosmic dark. Every lesson must be learned twice, first as a warning, then as a war. Inscription on the Monument of Forgotten Dawns, Zygarthi Restricted Archive, A. The light that would not die the signal's journey 12,000 years after Earth's fall, the cinder pulse reaches the Andromeda Galaxy. It's detected by the Caldari, a young starfaring species on the brink of first contact. The decoding their scientists reconstruct, humanity's genetic library intact, but encrypted. Vorath death, screams embedded like scars in the code. A single unlocked file. Lena's last words, if you're hearing this, you've found our grave. Don't dig deeper. B. The Caldari choice the fractured response purists demand the signal be erased, calling it a plague of the dead. Reclamationists hack their own planetary networks to rebuild Earth's bioweapon. The silent sect vanishes into the void, seeking the petrified war moons. The first contact war when Zygarthi scouts detect Caldari ships heading toward Milky Way ruins. They open fire without warning. The Caldari learn too late. The Zygarthi didn't fear the Vorath. They feared what the Vorath feared. C. The ghost in the code. Lena's last trick. Any species that fully decodes the cinder pulse triggers a hidden subroutine. It reanimates Subject Omega's 11 corpses as holograms. They speak in unison, you were warned. Then transmit coordinates to Earth's corpse. What waits there? Not a planet. A Matryoshka doll of dead Vorath moons. At its center, a single uncracked bio capsule, pulsing with Wraith's heartbeat. D. The universe's ultimatum. The pattern revealed this has happened before. The Zygarthi archives list 7 prior cinder events. Always a doomed species seeding its killer's weakness into the future. The final choice, option 1. The Caldari burn the signal, ensuring peace, and eventual domination by the next apex predators. Option 2. They rebuild Earth's weapon and become the new warning, the cycle's next turn. Wraith's capsule, is he preserved? Or the weapon's final payload, the 7 prior cinders. Did any species escape the cycle? The Zygarthe's sin, are they wardens? Or the original architects? The lesson never changes. Only the students do. The shattered cycle. Wraith's final gambit. The last soldier's awakening. You don't break the cycle by dying for a cause. You break it by making death meaningless. Wraith's voice emerging from the bio capsule A. The capsule opens 12,000 years in stasis. The Caldari expedition reaches the core of the dead Vorath moons. The bio capsule hisses open. Wraith steps out, his body, left arm replaced with Vorath bone, blades. Right eye, a pulsating Vorath sensory orb. Chest scarred with the Cinder Council's insignia, burning from within. His first words not a warning, not a plea, a laugh, hoarse, relentless. Took you long enough. B. The truth of the cycle. The original sin. Wraith's mind, preserved in the capsule, holds the unedited history. The pruning cycle wasn't natural. It was designed by the Zygarthi precursors, a way to weed out threats before they rivaled their power. Earth was the first species to weaponize its own extinction. The 7 prior cinders. Wraith projects holograms of their fates. The Ixthari turned their world into a black hole bomb. The Veln engineered a galactic's Gale dementia plague. The others' names lost, but their last acts were identical, burned the future despite the past. The flaw in the system. The precursors never accounted for something surviving. Wraith isn't just a man. He's a living archive of dead civilization's vengeance. See Wraith's offer to the Caldari. You have 2 choices. 1. Walk away and let the Zygarthi cull you when you get too strong. 2. Take this. He hands them a Vorath neural spy, catched with Earth's coordinates. What it does? Not a weapon, a key. It unlocks the Cinder Vault, a hidden cache where humanity stored. All Vorath technology purged of obedience codes. The Zygarthi precursor blueprints stolen during the war. One final message. If you're holding this, you're ready to hunt gods. D. The Zygarth is panic, their greatest fear realized for millennia. They've erased evidence of the cycle. Now the Kaldari have a living witness wraith. The Precursor's weapons in the vault, no reason to play by the rules. Their response, a fleet of 10-0 warships converges on the dead Vorath moons. Their transmission, surrender the abomination. Wraith's reply, come take him, E. The cycle's endgame, Wraith's true plan, he didn't survive to continue the cycle. He survived to break the players. The bio capsule wasn't his prison, it was his bait. The trap springs when the Zygarthi fleet arrives, the petrified war. Moons detonate. Not with fire, but with data. A pulse that broadcasts the Precursor's sins galaxy-wide. The Kaldari watch as Zygarthi ships start mutinying. Subject Omega's holograms reappear, chanting no more thrones. Wraith walks into the explosion, finally at peace. The aftermath, the galaxy learns the pruning cycle is exposed. Dozens of species unite against the Zygarthi. The Kaldari lead them, armed with humanity's vault. The last echo on a dead moon, the child's drawing of Earth, begins glowing. It was never just a sketch, it was a quantum beacon, and something just answered its call. Final questions. Who answered the beacon? Lena's AI. A surviving human colony? Something worse. The Zygarthi civil war, will they fall? Or reinvent themselves? Wraith's legacy, is he truly gone, or encoded in the Cinder Vault? The hunt is over. The game is changed. Now, the universe writes its own rules. The beacons answer what crawls out of the dark. The signal returned, we called for help. But the universe doesn't send heroes. It sends whatever's left. Final log of the Kaldari deeps, GAN array A. The glow intensifies, the drawing awakens, the child's sketch of Earth unfolds like origami, revealing a quantum entanglement core. It pulses in sync with the Cinder Vault's activation, the Zygarthi civil war. Something else, something older, the first contact. Kaldari scouts near the beacon report, space itself writhing like wet paper, a soundless scream that burns out their sensors, then a ship, not Vorath. Not Zygarthi, a jagged black sliver smaller than a fighter craft, dripping liquid time. B. The visitor, the entity aboard it calls itself the Gardener. Its form, a humanoid shape wrapped in fractured mirrors, each shard showing Earth's death. The Vorath Emperor's last moments, Wraith's capsule opening, a future that hasn't happened yet. Its message, you broke the cycle, now the garden grows wild. When asked what it tends, the graves of dead gods, and the seeds in their corpses. C. The harvest the gardener's request it wants. Wraith's bones, even if only atoms remain. A drop of subject Omega's blood. The child's drawing. In exchange, it offers a way to unmake the Precursor's design forever. The Kaldari's dilemma: trust a cosmic grave, robber, or risk the cycle repeating again. D. The final trade, the price paid. The Kaldari give the gardener what it asks, except one shard of Omega's blood. The gift given, the gardener presses its palm into the dead Vorath moons. They dissolve into light, forming a new planet. Earth's exact mass, orbit, and composition. No life, just potential. Its last words. Now tend it better than the last. E. The new dawn, the Kaldari's choice. Do they colonize the new Earth, leave it as a memorial, destroy it, fearing another cycle? The secret kept, that single shard of Omega's blood. The Kaldari scientists splice it into their own DNA. Not to become hybrids, but to always remember the cost of empires. F. The gardener's true purpose, the reveal centuries later. A Kaldari probe finds a trail of reborn worlds behind the gardener's path. Each a copy of a dead civilization's home, each empty and each waiting. The final truth, the gardener isn't preserving the past. It's preparing for something even the Precursors feared. And now, humanity's echo is part of its arsenal. The saga's true end, the new Earth. Will the Kaldari dare to walk on it? Omega's blood, is the cultist's legacy a curse? Or a vaccine? The coming storm, what was the gardener really building? Some hunts never end. They just change prey. The last hunt, Wraith's final laugh echoes across time. The cycle is dead. The hunt is eternal. You can kill a god, you can break a system, but the hunt that never dies It just changes hands. Inscription carved into the ruins of the Cinder Vault, A. The Caldari's new Earth, a world of ghosts. The replica Earth sits untouched for generations. Its continents pristine, its oceans still. The Caldari declare it taboo, a monument to the fallen. But whispers say, the cities are too perfectly placed. The winds sometimes carry human voices. The first defiant, a Caldari outcast named Vix, lands on the forbidden planet. She finds no bodies, no ruins, just a single black flower growing in the dead center of where New York should be. When she touches it, the sky flashes, and for a moment she sees them, Wraith grinning as he walks into the fire, Lena, her eyes now star-filled voids, the hybrid apostles kneeling not in submission, but expectation. B. Omega's blood awakens the hidden legacy. The Caldari scientists who spliced Omega's DNA begin dreaming of the Vorath emperors. Their children are born with eyes that see in the dark like Vorath, fingers that can sense quantum entanglement, a whisper in their skulls. The hunt is yours now. The cult reborn, a new faction rises, the blooded. They preach, we are not Caldari, we are not Vorath, we are the warning that walks. Their first act, they burn the Zygarthy archives. See, the Gardener's War, the enemy revealed the Gardener wasn't preparing for a war. It was preparing for an escape. Its true foe, the architects, the beings who built the precursors. And they've just detected the cycle's breakage. The last gift the Gardener returns, this time wounded, its mirror, body cracked. It gives the Caldari one final weapon, a seed made from Wraith's ashes. Plant it, and it grows into a tree that bears timelines like fruit. Its dying words, they will come, let them find you hunting. D. Wraiths laugh in the void, the sound that won't fade deep. Bass recordings pick up anomalies, laughter in radio static. Footsteps in cosmic background radiation. A shadow that flits between stars faster than light. The final truth, Wraith didn't die in the explosion. He became it. Now he is the spark in every rebellion. The glitch in every system. The hunt that outlives empires. The very last page, the Blooded's prophecy, when the architects come, we will not fight, we will hunt, and from our arrows will grow new worlds, and from our kills will rise new laws, and the cycle will not repeat because this time the prey bites back. The last line on the replica Earth, the black flower blooms. Its petals form a single word in Vorath, human, and Caldari. Run. This is the end, unless you choose to pick up the gun. The hunt never dies. It just waits for the next hand to hold it. Thank you.